Manchester's real glory was a continuum of first-class rock and roll.
Oh, I've got my single. I'm on a single camera on my own. So apologies if you just experienced the glitch in the machine, gremlins in the machine there. We've just had to do a bit of technical, shenanigans, but we're back now. How are you, Scotty?
After that streaming shambles, I'm all right.
I love the fact we came straight in as well on my single, which was even better. Yeah. Thanks for everyone who stuck around, and I appreciate your support as always. Obviously, if you don't know, I'm Motty, that's Scotty, and producer Youngie is off camera, but he has got a microphone, so we can join in with the conversation. Make sure as well you are hitting that like button. How was your Easter bank holiday, weekend, holiday, whatever you want to call it? Not weekend, holiday.
It seems to have got a bigger thing, doesn't it? You think Easter recently?
Yeah.
Like, I went to Morrison's on Saturday night to get the Easter eggs for the kids.
Saturday night?
Yes, it was I know, yeah, but I didn't think there was going to be like a shortage of eggs.
Yeah.
There was absolutely none. I was like picking up the battered ones. I was like, well, I'll dust this one off.
Mate, I had to go out on Sunday morning to the garage
because nowhere was open
to get her some, because we don't usually get each other eggs, but she got me one and then was giving me daggers because I ain't got her any, or I ain't got her one, so I went and got her free from the garage and she was alright then. But we obviously had the kids
cream eggs.
Yeah. Mini eggs. I just opened a packet of mini eggs in the garage and stuff.
I've got loads of them.
You can't charge me for that. I'm only having 3. Yeah, it's 10p. So yeah, get involved in the comments in the chat and let us know what you think about Easter, how your Easter's been. We're going to be talking about that man over there, Harry Maguire.
Yep.
Takes a lot of stick. Scotty, as I often tell you on this podcast, you are a pragmatist, a realist, an honest man. You call it as you see it and all that jazz, yeah?
Yep.
Harry Maguire against Everton.
Yep.
He got a bit of a pat on the back from Eric Ten Hag. What did you make of his performance?
I mean, let's be honest. If I'm allowed to be honest,
we
were playing Everton, and Everton is shit. Right? He didn't make any mistakes.
Okay.
So pat on the back from that. Our producer could do with some of taking something out of Harry Maguire's book. There we go. The record. First 5 minutes dig at James. But yeah, I mean, it was a decent performance, but I wouldn't want Harry Maguire starting on Thursday night or against any of the teams with better strikers.
I think Eric Ten Hag did the right thing. I think Harry Maguire just needs that little bit of a well done. That's what I wanted, because we still, want him to play well for United. And I still think there might be a situation where, if anything happens to Rafael Varane or, to be honest with you, probably...
You still want morale high, don't you? When he can
if we do have... Let's say, for example, he had to play in the semi-final for whatever reason. You want him to be going in that game confident and not feeling like it's on him, because with Harry Maguire, I feel like lately, when he's come especially the games I've been at, it does feel like there's like an intake of breath, like, Harry Maguire's on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the crowd are a bit like, oh, and he's not. I don't think he's that bad. It's not like he's a complete disaster. And yet sometimes you get that impression like he's gonna wreck this game. And this is a player who, despite his faults, can still do a job. And he showed that. I thought on Saturday, you're right, Everton weren't great, but I thought he did all right.
I think, rightly or wrongly, he's become the face of the Ole Solskjaer decline.
Yeah, it's weird because players get associated with an era or a manager, don't they?
Yep.
And you're right. I hear that because people look at it, go 80 million. This is where this is a source.
It's a fee he didn't ask to be paid for him. And United paid well over the odds. I didn't see any other Premier League team coming towards Leicester to spend 80 million on Harry Maguire, and I don't think he's worth it at all. But it's unfair that he became the sort of poster boy for the Solskjaer era. I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. I'd much prefer Varane at the back. But I think a team like Everton sort of suits Harry Maguire's play. Do you know what I mean? Balls coming into the box. It's not too complicated a job. I think it's very old school centre back, but not in the way like Rafael Varane can play out from the back in a way that Harry Maguire can't. So I don't think he needed to do that as much against an opposition like Everton.
No, I agree. He's actually had some good games against Everton, because they didn't do it as much on Saturday, but they always do, like you say, especially set pieces. They just lump it up, don't they? Especially when you used to have Calvert-Lewin there as well. And I remember a game at Goodison in particular. They were firing him cross after cross, and he was winning them all. Some comments that we'll get into, and then we'll hear from our producer extraordinaire. Good vibes, John Shin. Love John Shin. He's in the house. Says, judging from Scotty's face, Youngie defo tried switching from intro to wide shot and then cut off the stream. Laughing emoji. So your face tells
it's more boring than that. The stream just crashed basically, so I had to start it again.
So he says. I think he pressed the wrong button. I think he pressed the off button instead of the on button.
There's not. Let's not
focus on the negatives. Let's just get moving on to talk about football instead of your production skills, James.
Funky Ass Studio says Young ain't getting a pat on the back anytime soon. Brian Casey says public praise to keep the value up. Yeah, I don't need to talk about Young or Maguire there. Miles says, is James a better poet or producer?
Poet. He's a decent. He's a decent poet.
Yeah,
he's a 5 out of 10 poet.
Yeah, you enjoying the poetry, Youngie?
Yeah.
Yeah, good lad.
Fair play to him.
We've got famous supporters now. Dojo from a certain ratio. The drummer's a big fan. So
yeah.
He saw you perform once. I was a big fan.
I'm taking it, mate. I don't care.
Fair enough, the drummer from a certain ratio,
he didn't come down to see you.
That is decent.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. When I first started out my career, any sliver of sort of praise, I was like milking left.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, a certain ratio are a decent band, and the fact the drummer has been to see you is, it's one. I'd change my Twitter bio if I were you. Danny Shields says, he's just come out and said, every time I've played for the club, I've put in good performances, which is bull. Needs to shut his mouth and put in the work, killing any goodwill to big himself up. He does like to exude confidence, doesn't he, Maguire? And sometimes that crosses a bit of a line with people, because after the England game, he said, I ain't got anything to prove. And a lot of people were like, this guy, come on, you're not even in the United team. What you on about?
When he was cupping his ears and stuff like when he scored against who did we play that game?
Albania,
wasn't it?
Yeah. Listen, when you score against Albania, right, you make the most of it. It's not very often that happens. But what annoyed me
that he is very much like James and Inter.
There's a narrative here. Yeah. Do you know what annoyed me about that, right? He did all that. If you're gonna do it your chest out, right? So he took some grief, scored a goal for my country. Silencing the haters, right? But he didn't. He went, it was just an East Line celebration.
Either go in or don't bother.
Yeah, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get the whole sort of backtracking on it, because I respect you more if you just went, you know what? Yeah, I'm not having it. I've scored a goal and I'm proud of myself. But listen, he's going in the summer now.
Do you think? Because there's rumours today that Lindelof might be off. I don't think we can get rid of both of them.
Yeah,
because fine well, Varane get injured in the first week.
I guess you're right.
I can't see them both go. I mean, I don't know how much is what to stay at Old Trafford, but they don't move up.
Yeah, there's no one waiting. Unless I'm forgetting someone, there's no one waiting in the wings, is there?
What, for him?
No, coming in.
Not really, no.
Tuanzebe. I don't know what. Is he gone permanent or was it a loan, James?
What? Where did he go?
He went to Stoke, didn't he? Tuanzebe.
Well, I don't think we want to be relying on players who've sent out to Stoke to replacing him.
No, I mean that's a fair comment. He's on loan from United, but again, I don't see him coming back into the first team, which is a shame because I like Axel, but it's not happening. So yeah, Lindelof, Maguire, Eric Bailly's not coming back, is he? Let's be honest. So it's more than likely that one of Maguire or Lindelof is going to stick around, and Lindelof's going to go to, is it Inter?
Yeah, looks like, yeah.
Because they've been chasing after him for a little while.
I think so. I forget Lindelof's better on the ball than Maguire is. I think he'd play better in Serie A.
Ian Hamilton says, Jay, come on, it's time again to get political. Where do you want to start? Jay, I've got the popcorn ready. We'll get political a bit later on, don't worry about that. I just wanted to talk about, obviously, we've got a load of games coming up. Eric Ten Hag was moaning about the fixture list. I said moaning is the wrong word, but complaining about the fixture list. And the fact that, he felt Marcus Rashford got injured because of the build-up of games.
Yep.
We had a game on a Sunday at 4 against Newcastle, game against Brentford at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, and then a game at 12 on a Saturday. So factually, it's 3 games in less than 7 days. seems a bit excessive when they could have shifted it around a little.
They could have done, but I mean that's what happens when you're proving more successful. I mean it's a good problem to have, and I think given the amount of stick that I've given Jurgen Klopp over the years for whinging about the fixture congestion, I'm not going to sit here and start doing the same thing because I'm not a Scouser.
Do you not think there is a point to it though when they do they didn't need us to be the early kickoff on a Saturday?
No.
Like that, why not just make us like the later kickoff on a Saturday or even a Sunday? Because why not do Sunday to Sunday? Because we've not got a game till Thursday. Do you know what I mean? It just seems slightly odd. And the thing with Klopp is, and I mentioned this in my news paddock today, people go, because I've had this, people go, well, you slag off Jurgen Klopp when he does it, but Jurgen Klopp moans about everything. Like Jurgen Klopp moans about wind, snow, sun, United getting penalties. He moaned about United getting penalties when he lost at Southampton. Yeah. What's that got to do with United getting penalties? He blamed a witch for the draw against Fulham, I think it was, or Palace, I forget which one. Cold feet, his keeper having cold feet. The opposition having injuries made them better. Yeah. That was one of his arguments. COVID affected him more than his team because City had a break because of COVID. So he sort of... it's
his personality.
It's hard to feel sympathetic towards him when he's so many different things.
Yeah, I get that.
Where with Eric Ten Hag, I do feel, I'm not just saying this as a United fan, but I do feel like when he has complained, he has got a bit of a point because he complained about Andy Carroll, didn't he, on Eriksen? And I thought he was valid there because I felt were just rash challenges when Andy Carroll lost his head. Was just running around, hacking everyone down.
It's justified excuses, isn't it?
And I feel like this one, where he mentioned it, he goes, 3 games in less than 7 days. Like he said, I think he said 3 games in 6 days, which, technically is true. Unnecessary. Like they could have, and it wasn't like a Rafa Benitez rant blaming another. You're not blaming anyone else other than the organisers. So I feel like he's slightly justified, but I understand your point that not many people will feel too sympathetic because people go,
Do you worry then for the rest of the season in terms of what, fighting now on 3 fronts, top 4, Europa League and the FA Cup? Do you think that we should prioritise something? Do you worry that we may not get, reach later stages of the Europa League or, the FA Cup? It's a tough game against Brighton, who were fucking robbed.
We'll get into that in a minute as well. That's a great point. For me, I do feel like if I had to prioritise anything, it would be top 4. Now we've got a trophy. I wanted a trophy and we've got one. Do you know what I mean? If we didn't have a trophy, I'd be saying let's go for the Europa because that's a trophy and Champions League. Yeah. But I feel like now we've got a trophy, getting into the Champions League next season, I can't be doing Europa League football again next season. And also, the repercussions can be quite big, can't they? Because it's like certain players might look at it and go, I know in the past we signed Pogba and Zlatan when we were in the Champions League, but some players just go, I don't fancy joining a club that's in the Europa.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas if you're in the Champions League, it just makes you a little bit more attractive, doesn't it? So for me, top 4, because it's doable. I feel like we're in a good position. I know we've got to go to Spurs, which is going to be tough, and I think we've got to entertain Chelsea. But other than that, Brighton? We've got Brighton as well. Sorry,
Brighton away.
Brighton away is that's a really tough game. But of those 3 games, other than those, I think you fancy us. So I do feel like it's there for the taking. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like because we've got that, and also I ain't gonna lie to you, Scotty, I'm worried. About the FA Cup. No, well, there's that, but I'm really worried about the FA Cup.
It'll be a tough game on Sunday. Like they played great against Spurs and definitely deserved the win and were robbed. And the backdated, so they apologised, didn't they? The FA saying there's a wrong decision on
came
the
out and said we got it wrong because they had a goal disallowed, didn't they, on Mitoma, which shouldn't have been, and then they had a penalty again on Mitoma, which should have been on Højbjerg. I think stamped on him, well not stamped on him, but stood on him. It's a penalty.
Is an apology enough in this day and age? When that system is set up to prevent errors like this costing teams points, and yet it did, shouldn't there be some sort of, play the game again?
That's a bold move. I get you.
Or something. They should.
I think that throws up its own.
Why should Spurs benefit from it?
It's hurt us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because if they'd have drawn that game, we'd been pole position for top 4, same with Newcastle. And now it's like it's up in the air still. So it is annoying because you feel like the authorities almost have conspired there to make that happen. I'm not saying they have deliberately, but it is pathetic. And an apology doesn't do anyone any real favours, does it? Because it's kind of meaningless. What's this? Heaven Soul says they mentioned Housen's car getting stolen. Jay plugged his stream earlier. Well, it's news to me. I don't know if that's actually happened or I've not spoken to Steve. I did say he was going to go live earlier on Paddock, but I'll have to chat to him. Raf says, facts, Jay, Europa League has terrible music as well. No, in answer to your question, I don't think that an apology means anything. It's meaningless, and if anything, it just adds to your annoyance, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like they're admitting they got it completely wrong. And then the...
should have just come out and lied. Do you know what I mean? It'd cause less hysteria.
Oh, right. Sorry, I've only just seen it. Steve tweeted. I was due to go live. They found my car has been stolen. Been on to police and insurance since. I was going to shop for Red Bull and was like, where's my car gone? And he has put a laughing emoji. He seems to be taking this in good spirit. So I didn't realise that because I was plugging his stream and his stream didn't happen.
Oh, wow. So someone's nicked his car?
Yeah.
So if anyone's seen a canary yellow Fiat Punto, we'll try around the streets of North Manchester.
Yeah. So I hope Steve gets his car back. Solo in the chat says, who's part of the United agenda, make sure to check them out. Says, saying sorry doesn't change the outcome of the game. No, it is frustrating. I understand. I think replaying the game throws up its own issues because it's like certain players might not be fair. There's a fixture congestion as it is when you fit it in. We know how the dramas with that. And then you might end up replaying it, and Spurs might win 5-0 or whatever. And
but what they could have done is just say, all right, well, Brighton deserved a penalty. Just get the penalty taken. The goalers go down to Spurs ground. Get them to take it.
I love that. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
I think that'd be good. That. Where do you stand on it, Younger?
On what? So I've been focusing on the chat and on getting the cameras right and the mic levels. I've not been listening to what you've been saying.
Right. Well, we'll leave you to the multitasking.
So I've got about 3 things to do here.
Three things. You've got to do your vision mixing, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you got to press them buttons, right? Don't forget that. You got to monitor the chat, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to monitor the levels, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the sound you can hear, yeah. Good lad. Lots of people commenting on Steve's car. Listen, he'll be all right. I'm sure he'll be fine. He seems to be taking it in good spirits. No, I mean, the thing with this that annoys me is it keeps happening. Do you know what I mean? We keep seeing these apologies, decisions going wrong, and it's like, come on, man, get a grip. You've got one job, just do it right. VAR was meant to make life better, and it's making it worse. Yeah,
we don't talk about the decisions that the referees made, or VAR's made more than the football. And I was watching when Palace spanked Leeds yesterday, and I can't remember, I think is it Ayew who's striker for?
Yeah.
I think he scored and it went to VAR, and I was just like, just takes the whole fun out.
Well, he didn't really celebrate, did he?
No.
And he was well on side as well, wasn't he? I remember when we beat Chelsea 4-0 when VAR just started, and Marcus, I think, got the 4th, and it was a ball over the top. And I sort of held back my celebration because I thought, is he offside here?
Yeah.
And when I watched it back, when I got home, there was no VAR. He was miles onside.
Yeah.
But because I got into that mindset...
It steals that sort of natural emotion you have when you're watching football, because you're always cautious not to look like a tick because you're celebrating something that was, offside.
Andy Like Stuff says, James Young is a god, reminds me of my nephew.
It's not very respectful on Easter Monday.
Right, well...
James Young is a god, it reminds me
Andy Like Stuff said that. I take it his nephew's about 18 months old. Right. Ian Hamilton says, unlike the SFA, the refs bunch actually admit they got it wrong. Clancy was appalling in Old Firm, and we had a goal disallowed. So it just adds to the ire. You just need to get a grip, don't they? Would you get rid of VAR?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I think it's brought in for commercial reasons. Obviously, football clubs don't want to lose the points and the sort of money. I like the human aspect. I like human error, and it should be across the board.
You must love this podcast then.
I do. That's why we hired him.
Anyway, talking of human error, a referee's assistant was dishing out elbows in the Arsenal-Liverpool game.
Yes,
Liverpool-Arsenal game.
Fair play to him.
Did you see that? Because Andy Robertson at half-time went and wanted to have a word with the assistant referee.
Yeah.
And he gave him a bit of an elbow. Now, it was a kind of shruggy elbow. It wasn't a blatant, have a bit of that.
No.
But it was, I think his elbow connected with his neck or something. What did you make of that?
I agree completely, as I always do, with every single thing that Roy Keane says. Baby.
Big baby, yeah, you can see it on a thumbnail there. Because Keane weren't having any of it, was he? He was like, look, he's just being a big baby.
It's not a good look recently for Premier League footballers who, carry themselves like athletes. If you look at Harry Kane that went down so easy, I think Sean Dyche referred to it as he broke an eyelash and then went down like he was trying to get an Oscar. And then we have this again with Robertson. Just, it's pathetic. It really, really is. Just stop being a soft ass.
It's mad, isn't it? Because if you're out and about and, someone like strokes your face or touch you,
Where are you going out to? Someone strokes your face.
I just wander the streets till people start stroking my face. But you wouldn't go down holding it, would you? Do you know what I mean? Like,
no.
Do you remember, I remember Heung-min Son, and Good Vibes John's in the chat, so I've got to be careful there because he loves him. But I remember when we got that goal disallowed, you remember Cavani at Spurs' goal? Yeah. Because, McTominay brushed his face, and he went down like he'd been shot. And you're like, what are you doing? If you had a fight with someone and he went like that,
it's just embarrassing. But do you think, do you agree what Sean Dyche says and said that it's like a sign of the time, not so much just on the football pitch, but in society where you don't have these sort of, these are athletes, they're built like gladiators, aren't they, and stuff, but they do seem to have a little bit more of a softer side when it comes to physical.
Do you think that's because, I don't know if it's society, do you think maybe it's just because they know that can influence referees?
Maybe.
Especially with VAR coming in now.
But that was always the thing. Do you remember when, and it was very sort of, I don't know if xenophobic's the right word, but whenever we used to get players from the continent during the 90s, if you look back to this, like Jurgen Klinsmann, it's like, we don't want them, it's proper Brexit before Brexit. We don't want them over here diving
and going down every 5 minutes and ruining our game and stopping us watching free-flowing football.
But now you've got England's leading goal scorer who's doing it. How times have changed.
Yeah. Good Vibes John said, Sonny, an absolute disgrace. Need to hear a Jay's trademark. Pathetic. Yeah, it was pathetic. King Dino says, if someone pokes you in the eye on a night out, they get a right hook, surely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I love it when people say, when someone does a foul or whatever, and they said, if you did that to someone in the street, you get nicked. You think, well, yeah, obviously. If you ran up to someone in the street and just two-footed them, randomly, then yes, you'd go to prison, and rightly so, because you can't do that. Well, it's obviously in a football pitch, it's different. Youngie, are you with us? Are you able to comment on any of this?
No, I know. I just got the idea in my head of someone slide tackling someone on Market Street.
Yeah, you ran down Market Street, just threw yourself into someone. You're not going to get a yellow card, are you?
It'd be funny that though, wouldn't it? Don't you think it'd be so funny just to take down a shopper? just for one day. Have you seen the Purge films? You could just go around doing football tackles on people in the street. Outside Primark,
someone's
no, I do it to them. It's on Market Street at the minute. There's so many just annoying people just in the way, singing or juggling or whatever. One of them I'd do it to. They just piss me off. Then.
That's a terrible way to talk about the homeless, James.
What are they doing? What were you slagging off then?
Just really annoying buskers that expect people to give money to them, and really untalented people.
Do you know what? Hey. A couple of nights at the open mic, he thinks he's Dylan Thomas, doesn't he?
No,
do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean, though? I'm just trying to get on with my day. I don't need all this,
Right, but the thing with the buskers, though, right? You have the option of just ignoring them, not giving them any dough.
But then they speak to you. That's the difference.
What do you mean they speak to you?
Have we got any? They're like, have we got any change? It's well, no. I don't carry.
Buskers chat to you when you go past them.
Yeah.
What? So they're singing a song, and then they'll say to you, "Have you got any change?"
I'm not being funny, James, but I've seen you your face when you're walking around. You don't have the most inviting face to anyone.
You don't strike me as someone that.
I'm gonna approach him. He looks like a charitable guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't come across that way.
Actually gave money to a homeless person last night.
You don't brag about stuff like that.
Did you? No. How much did you give?
It was in euros.
What did he say?
He said, "If you got any change," I said, "Yeah, I've only got euros."
Oh my God! You're giving a homeless person euros for when they, visit the continent. That's handy on their next trip to Disneyland. I want to say the thought was there, but I don't know if it was. So how much? You don't know how much it was?
Yeah, it was about €3 or €4.
What's the going rate now in euros? That's not bad. That's about 2-3 quid. But was it coins? Can you exchange coins?
Yeah, you can exchange coins. Yeah.
Don't you know? There'd be notes.
There'd be notes.
So basically, you give this poor guy.
Right, but that's better than nothing, though, isn't it?
Is it though?
What? It might as well be buttons.
Is it? If they can't exchange it, they can't spend it. Is it better than nothing?
Could a shop just not take pity on him if he just said, "Look, I'm homeless. I've only got euros on me."
So they go in the
I've
shop.
only got your. And what are they going to say? Well, how's a homeless person got euros? You're a blagger. You've been on the continent.
Right, if I
So you go
ran
into
a shop-
Tesco's, right? Yeah, you go into Tesco's with your euros, right? You say to the woman on the counter, you go like, you buy a sign or whatever, you go, I'm homeless, I've only got euros, can you take pity on me? She's going to say, no.
Yeah. I'm not going to lose my job because some stingy bastard in the street dropped €4 in your bucket.
Yeah,
Look, but if I was in that situation, right, and I ran a corner shop and a homeless person came in and said, look, I've only got euros, I'd take it.
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
Right, well, that's going to be the challenge now. I think next week for this, we should film James with euros trying to buy a sandwich at some sort of supermarket.
Yeah, I
Should
think
we do
we
that,
should.
James?
I think that's a great
If
idea.
you're that confident that you can do it, I want to see it, and I'm sure the people on the stream want to watch it as well.
Yeah, shouldn't that be a little challenge for you then, yeah?
Right.
Youngie spends euros, right? And if
Oh,
you
I don't have any euros now, do I? 'Cause I've given them to
I'm
them.
sure you'll get them back off him. We'll sort some euros.
yeah,
out
we'll
for
get
him.
you some euros, right? And
And you got any of that krona left that you've been handing round?
Look, it's worth it's worthless. It's worth £1.
What is?
The krona.
Where's it from, the krona?
Denmark.
So you still have currency from another country, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. So then you have to go into a supermarket and try and spend money with.
But no, we're not doing that.
I feel sorry for this guy, man. This guy probably got all excited and got a load of coins and that. It's like, yes, got some coins now. I can go and
When
get
he's
some.
heard the rattle,
But I said to him
he's got
before.
and he's gone. You generous man.
And also,
Giving
can
it Easter.
Right, listen, I don't mean to cast aspersions on homeless people, right? But there's a good chance, or there's a strong possibility, that this homeless person may have wanted to go and use this for a dealer.
Right. So what's the negative here?
Well, the dealer's not going to take euros either, is it?
Well, they might do. Probably more chance of getting it.
Yeah, maybe.
But I said to him first, right, I said, look, I've only got euros, is that okay? And he went, yeah, fine.
Well, what's he going to say? No, don't give me something. He's probably expecting some notes. Probably thought you're going to give me a nice sweaty euro note here. I'm going to go to the Bureau de Change and get myself 18 quid. Do you know what I mean? And that's me set for the day. He wasn't expecting, coins. And he's like, oh, thanks for that. Oh, mate, I think you've had him over there. Loads of people laughing about what you said. Andy Light Stuff says bottle tops for scrap. Yeah, you could have given him them. Good Vibes John says Youngate and Madman. Good Vibes John also says Scotty's idea for a Patreon video.
Is that not illegal though?
What?
Like paying for stuff. Like if I had like that 10 Danish kroner.
Yeah.
And I went in and pretended that it was a £10 note. And they accepted it.
Oh, that's illegal. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I thought the point was you'd argue the toss.
You've got to go in and try and pass it off, and if they don't let you do it, then you've lost the whole.
Oh, right, so
story.
he's got to pretend.
He's got to go in, pretend that he's got it, and not try and take it.
He was saying, like, you can convince him.
Oh, but we'll let him try and do that
You
then.
can talk him into it. You can go, yeah, help me out. And that.
Right, and we'll be doing that as a Patreon special video, which is a nice segue to the offer that we've got going at the moment, because as it's Easter, we are doing a £1 special offer for the patrons. So you're going to get exclusive content. We started doing Scotty and Motty Radio now, where we talk about latest news, but you're also going to get a tailored playlist, I'd say.
I love it, yeah. We've been doing this, and, like, it'll be relevant to a topic that's topical.
I've got a great one now.
Yeah. So, for example, we did one the other week, wasn't it? Because Andy Burnham had been nicked.
Yeah, we did one about Andy Burnham speeding, and then last week we did one because James had been planting trees. We did stuff about nature and stuff.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to do like an Easter-themed playlist.
Yeah, so there's a link, right, in the chat there for the Patreon. You sign up, we've got this offer for £1, but obviously if you're on the £2 one, you get a little bit extra as well, so it's tiered. So you're always going to get something extra, but there's articles on there, there's a radio show on there, there's extra videos on there as well. So, you're getting looked after, and like I say, the £2 one, you get a little bit more. If you sign up to the £1 one, you do get extra stuff as well, and a little bit of a preview as well on stuff.
We're not accepting euros, though.
Yeah, you can't sign up.
You can't pay in
can't
euros.
pay
Isn't it in like dollars though? I swear you can choose on Patreon.
You're not supposed to pull the rug when someone's having a joke. We know that, James. If it wasn't Easter.
Yeah. Someone was saying, right, WW, right, I think it was, what if they allowed fighting in football, right, trying to get back on some sort of normality here. Like, he said, I'd love to see Lisandro Martinez and Mings go at it.
Yeah.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Remember like in NHL, they like a good scrap, don't they, when they take the...
Is that allowed, like in hockey? Is it part of the rules?
Let me tell you...
You get put in, like, sin bins for it.
Yeah,
like,
but they still do it.
Yeah.
Like, they proper battle each other as well, don't they?
Yeah, that'd be quality, that. I'm here for that.
Do you reckon, like, Martinez is obviously one who's been mentioned. He can handle himself.
Yeah.
Who else have we got?
Or Casemiro.
Casemiro.
I think Rojo, bring him back just for the
Rojo
fight.
was
Yeah.
Wasn't Rojo, like, up for assault when we signed him? Do you remember?
What, the piece of bread that he fucking burnt?
No, not all that toast. That toast was horrible. No, basically, we signed Rojo. If you remember, we signed him. And he didn't come here for about a month. And it was like, where is he? I was at the press conference with like, what's going on? He was like, oh, Van Gaal was like, his work permit issues, sorting out his work permit. And what happened was, we signed him, and someone in the office at United, like after we'd made a deal, was like, they Googled him just to see about him, and it turned out he was in court for swatting his neighbour with a bottle, I think it was. So they had to wait till that was done.
Had they already signed the papers?
Yeah, and they didn't realise.
So there was every chance that we could have signed a player that was...
And he could have gone to jail. Yeah, and he'd been our player as well, like playing in, Argentinian prison or wherever he was.
He stayed a lot longer than I think most people expected him to, didn't he, Ron?
Yeah, he was good box office for a bit.
I didn't mind him, he wasn't great, but yeah, he box office, wasn't he? That's what I used to like about Bayer. It was shit. Yeah. But there was always something going on.
Bayer could drop you an absolute 10 out of 10 performance now and again. Honestly,
yeah.
Like I remember on pre-season.
I think the last 2 games didn't he play Atalanta with one of the last games.
There was one game where I know it's only pre-season, but when we watched him in Thailand, when we played the Scousers, he was phenomenal. It was just one of the performances where he was everywhere. Yeah. And they had like Salah and Firmino on that plane, and he was like, he was everywhere. And Tellers had a stinker, so he was doing really well, but he just made a glass and crazy.
Right. Okay. So it is an idea. So you got like all the. Was it 20 teams in the Premier League?
Yes.
Right. Who are you putting forward to represent Manchester United in a boxing match?
In a boxing match?
Who are you doing it? Actually, tell me who you think Manchester United's...
What?
Present. I mean, in past, I'm sending Roy Keane.
From the current squad?
Not you, I'm talking to the viewers, James.
Well, you can think about it
one as well, yeah.
Have a go.
Current squad, who would you send into the ring to represent Manchester United?
We haven't got...
what chance do you think they'd have against the rest of the league?
We haven't got loads of...
What about Casemiro?
Yeah. Casemiro and Martinez are the only 2 that stand out for me as being proper, like, can have a row.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't
you'd have to get... But Weghorst is a big dude as well, isn't
Weghorst, yeah, that he can get involved. That's a shout.
Is Hannibal still on the books or not?
No, he's at Birmingham, right. You can he's still our player, yeah.
Someone says Scott McTominay. Did you see McTominay with Elton John?
What's going on there?
No idea.
Hey, I didn't see that one coming, did you? No. It was a bit random now. He just pops up, he's hanging around with Elton John. Elton John looked like he didn't know what was going on.
He's about 80 now, isn't he?
Yeah, he was just probably...
Elton John's not look like he knows what's going on for a long time.
Yeah. Do you remember the lockdown concert?
No.
Youngie, do you remember the lockdown concert? In his garden.
That's what it sounds like.
He literally sang his own song, I'm Still Standing, without any words. It's like, he was like your drunk uncle at karaoke. Like, it was genuinely amazing that it was his song and he seemingly didn't know the words.
You know, it was a strange time for all of us. We all did weird things like set up podcasts and hum our own tunes.
It wasn't, I mean, to be fair to him, I think it was for charity and he was doing his best. I mean, like you say, he's 80. It wasn't as bad as, remember all them celebrities that they'd imagine?
Yes, that was horrendous. Or Madonna in a bath of milk.
Yeah, remember what was that? That was a bit odd. I forgot about that. Yeah, there was some strange things going on.
The worst was, do you remember that DJ that did his set? And like halfway through stopped it and said like respect to George Floyd and his family, and then did like a drop afterwards.
That was that David Guetta?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that was, that's what him and his family would have wanted. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, there was some crazy things going on, but like you say, some people started a podcast.
Yep.
And we're still here now. So on the whole Andy Robertson thing, the kid who's done it, he's been taken off duties for the time being. Do you think he should be punished? Do you think he did anything wrong?
Wait, just let's get this correct. He elbowed a Liverpool player, and you're asking me, do you think he should be punished?
Yeah. When
what answer are you expecting?
I think he should.
I think he should be praised.
If anything, he should be praised.
Given the keys to Manchester.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a proper. So I just felt it was a bit like...
It's just very indicative of these times where everyone just seems massively outraged at any single thing that is going on in the world. And I just think it's just been blown massively out of proportion. If that was 5-10 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation at all now. But we needed something to moan about on that particular day, and that was the thing we chose.
Right, okay.
Baby.
Big baby, yeah, I'm with Keno on that one. Big baby. Miles says, acts as a unit. And Deason is a nutcase. I would take Shaw on my side in a fight for sure, says WW. He also says Fred would fight to the end. Funky Ass Studio says Brandon Williams likes a scrap, I bet. Yeah,
he's from Manchester.
He's from Moston or something.
Harper
From Harper, yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed Donhill that he won't be shy of having a scrap.
In the park.
Good vibes. John says Scotty flipping spot on there. Glenn Five's YouTube is a con. Says good one, Scotty. Yeah, that's gone down well there, did it? No one really cares, did he?
They don't at all.
I mean, it couldn't happen to a nicer bloke as well, couldn't it? Because Andy Robertson's one of those that he's always moaning and he's always got something to say for himself. He just comes across as really distasteful, Andy Robertson. Do you know what I mean? Like, Trent Alexander-Arnold, you might not like him, but he's not...
He doesn't come
particularly
across as much,
egregious, and it's like he's just a person who plays for Liverpool, so you don't like him because he plays for them. Where Robertson is always in your face and he's always trying to wind people up. He's always like moaning about things. He's got one of them faces as well, like he's always acting like he's a nutter. Do you know what I mean? And you think, well, you're not.
That's the whole thing, isn't it? Going like carrying yourself as though you're a bit of a hard man, and then just reacting like that to a bit of cloth on your face.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was barely a thing.
Brandon Williams on balloons in a fight.
Did you see those pictures of Dele Alli with balloons? But
Have you ever done that?
No, I was saying this in the office before. Balloons passed me by. It wasn't a thing when I was
the tent.
Yeah, like as they
do.
Went past me in the park. No, but I never did them. And by the time I got sober, I wasn't going to go back.
Yeah, they're proper head wreck. Like, it doesn't last for a long. No, it's a bit more intense than poppers.
Right. Okay. Because
did I do balloons in Thailand?
I did them in Bulgaria a couple of years ago.
What James Young did, right? I forgot about this.
The Thailand thing.
In Thailand.
It's on the Patreon video.
Right, because he's saying, did I do balloons in Thailand? Not really. Technically, maybe. You basically, someone gave you a balloon and you went, like, you put it to your mouth and then just sort of let go of it.
How many people are watching now?
255.
How many likes have we got?
55.
If we can get up to 200 likes, I will walk James Young to the shop with €1 and make him go in to try and buy something.
Have you got €1?
Well, I don't have to. I'll go and get one.
Yeah.
Get liking the show.
I mean, we've only got a few minutes, so good luck with that. But if it happens, we'll do it. It doesn't appeal to me, the balloons anyway.
There's probably one outside the. There's probably someone outside the Fremont trying to give one away.
What?
€1.
What are you on about?
Just saying the person that gave. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. We're still on that, right? Yeah. I mean, we can try and do that. Ed says balloons proper became a thing in the mid to late 2000s. What do you make of Dele Alli?
Doing balloons or in general as a player?
What's happened there?
I don't know. I think he was elevated beyond his ability, to be honest, when he went from Wimbledon to Spurs.
Well, MK Dons,
yeah. And I think
we can't get those confused.
And I think it was quite a trajectory, and whether it was a sort of mentality thing. There's that video of him being spoke to by Jose Mourinho. You've got one of the most successful managers speaking to you, and you're not taking any of it. And then I have little sympathy if you found yourself in Salford Quays doing balloons on a Tuesday morning. I don't think he was good enough. I think he didn't have there's lots of players we could, tarnish with this, but I just think that he may be a gifted player, but you've got to have the sort of mental strength to want to achieve. I mean, Man United have had enough players like that. I haven't had that.
Yeah, I feel like there was that
absolute knob Brian Casey put. I hope that's not about me.
Yeah, there was that sort of spell one there, like when England got to the World Cup semi-final, where there was likes of Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard as well, had a massive purple patch around that time.
Yeah.
And then they both sort of tailed off, because like Lingard now, does he even get in the Forest team?
He's had that same issue again this season in the Premier League. He's had no goals or assists.
Really?
Yeah.
So Lingard's struggling, and then Dele Alli obviously was at Everton, struggled, went to Besiktas, And then the Besiktas manager sort of come out and said how disappointed he's been with him. I think he's got 2 goals in 13 games or something. And then this video come out. I don't know if it's an old video, by the way. It could be something from 5 years ago or whatever. But it doesn't look great. And I always get a little bit sad when I see things like that because I've not got any dog in the fight when it comes to Dele Alli. But there's a kid, like you said, Jose Mourinho tried to tell him, you know, we've all been there. And someone says to you, look, you know, you're not making the most of your opportunities.
Yeah.
Whether that's when you're at school, whether you're starting your first job or in your career, whatever. Obviously not to the level of playing for Tottenham in England, but you have that conversation where someone says, look, you're messing your life up here. Trust me, I've been there. I know what I'm talking about. Buckle down and you'll reap the rewards. And he's just gone in one ear and out the other with him.
But he took it one the other way with it, didn't he?
Yeah,
like well, I tend to know better than Jose Mourinho. It's about application, isn't it?
Miles says Aaron Lennon has had a better career than Dele. Aaron Lennon, you know, he's been through a lot.
Everton.
Yeah, and he had mental health issues. He came back from that. Obviously,
I read a really good interview actually with Aaron Lennon recently, and he was talking about like the mental health struggles
because he got sectioned, didn't he, for a while?
Yeah,
I think it was funnily enough in Eccles, where I'm from, where he was sort of found, if that's the right word.
Well, he was talking about how like journaling and stuff like that was like really helped him, just trying to get stuff off his.
I think he came back for Burnley. I think it might have been against United or something. Good reception anyway, which is good to see because I admire anyone that can come back from struggles like that and what he did. And you know, people are quick to judge, but it can happen to anyone regardless of, you know, how good at football you are. I'm going to wrap it up there. I put loads of links in the chat to our Patreon. Like Scotty says, we've got a new Easter offer for £1 where you get extra content. And obviously, if you already signed up for the £2 offer, then you get a little bit more as well. So go and check that out. There's a link in the chat. And James has just done it again straight away after me, which, you know, okay.
I mean, let's talk about a hard sell there, James. Yeah, it's £1, which is £12 a year, if that, but you have to pay £1 a month. I mean,
hang on a minute.
What's up?
Let me just double check that. What is it? £1 a month?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Sorry. You're right. 12 quid a year.
12. Oh, right.
Yeah. How many euros is that, James?
Roughly about 16.
16? Your fucking maths is terrible. Right. I've been Scotty. That's been Motty. He's in the corner called James. Thanks everybody for watching tonight and sticking with us and watching the show and stuff. We've turned it off now. Are we live?
It's off. Yeah.
What?